Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1, Demon Devourer, written by Samuel Evans. The office of the subjugation of demons employs countless demon hunters, but even more chroniclers to record the actions and ongoings of various hunters, both licensed and otherwise. Included are the transcripts from the subject of inquiry, as is policy with the administration. Each notice regarding the individual is considered restricted and is to be safeguarded and withheld from those without a need to know. The following folder is the first documentations of the subject. Documents from Demon Hunter Chronicler badge number 2049. Official document status restricted. I've been assigned to my first mission as a Demon Chronicler. As is commonplace for new recruits, I've been assigned to an unlicensed hunter that has just popped up in our peripheries. I found the hunter at a cafe in a local town. He quickly made contact with the person requesting an exorcism and sat down for tea with the man. The man was a local human priest dressed in a traditional black robe with a white clerical collar. I recognized his contact from previous reports. 2 licensed hunters had already failed. The first hunter survived, but the second suffered an unknown fate, and was assumed deceased. Both chroniclers died, so I shall maintain a level of distance from the hunters to allow myself time to escape should the worst befall him. I observed the hunter and made sure to record his appearance to discern his species. He had a normal human features, with brown hair, dark brown eyes. Remarkably, he looked like he had never seen a day of work. His skin was soft and not harsh like many human peasants. Most likely, he was of noble birth and was well kempt as a result. When the waiter took his cup away, I made sure to sneak to the kitchen and grab it from the kitchen counter as it sat on. Further testing using my assigned kit confirmed my hypothesis. He was indeed human. While not all too uncommon, humans are by far the weakest hunters and most unpredictable. They also tend to be the least perceptive race, so remaining unobserved should be no difficult task. Uncharacteristic of human hunters, this one managed to maintain a decorum benefit of a higher race. Throughout his dealings, he was calm and spoke the language with elegance. It's not often humans impress, but this one was a step above the rest, giving credence to my theory of noble birth. After he spoke to his contact, he followed him to the road. The contact provided a carriage to transport them. They traveled at a leisurely pace, so I was easily able to follow from behind. It wasn't long before they arrived at the demon's lair, a Devourer manor. The man leading led them through the front door. I was able to follow by flying through an open second-floor window. Floating down the stairs, I witnessed the contact showing the hunter to the basement door. The hunter, callously and cockily, asked for some refreshments, before swiftly opening the door and closing it behind him. I barely made it in before he'd slammed it shut. Due to the nature of the Devourer architecture, there was only one entrance to the basement from the house. Before entering, I did notice the symbol on the door, walls to keep whatever was trapped down there from entering the rest of the abode. But that mattered very little. Kulfa always built large basements that interconnected to a massive tunnel and cave system. As soon as the hunter closed the door behind him, his serene and serious face quickly jumped to a twisted and maniacal smile. His entire presence and aura changed to something almost demonic, possibly something worse. Frankly, it scared me deeply. He slowly walked down the steps, taunting the demon with each step. "Come out, little demon. It's time to play." Demons do not take to taunting very well, and so one of the basemen quickly manifested itself. It took the form of a drowned woman, dripping water from her grey gown. Her face wasn't that of a normal mortal race. Her eyes were large and black. The black seeped out, cracking and winding in lines outward from the eyes. She had large teeth and an overly large mouth that dripped with a drool, and her hair looked like slimy black algae. The hunter paid it no heed, and neither did he seem to sense or fall victim to any of the demon's fear or illusions. I've never seen someone stay so calm while demons attacked them with fear, but yet he walked with the same maniacal expression on his face. At this point, I should have realized. While many had their means to resist fear and illusions from a demon, no one has ever completely negated it, or saw past it before. The demon grew in anger and began shifting around the basement while using its telekinetic abilities to throw furniture, boxes, casks, crates, and whatever else lay there at the man. For his part, he managed to dodge most of it, but during the demon's tantrum, she managed to hit him with a few items. He kept his maniacal smirk despite the injuries. The demon acted quickly and lunged at him in a bid to possess the hunter. Surprisingly, he did nothing to dodge her, and it seemed he almost accepted the demon into himself. By now, I had noticed another demon manifesting itself. It looked virtually the same as the other, and it wailed while the other demon attempted to possession. Then I saw something I've never seen in training or read about in any document or book. I didn't know that it was possible, or that a demon would, but it happened. The demon tried to escape its victim. I saw it emerge from the hunter for a second, but I saw him grab it with his hands. He was able to grasp the demon and pull it back and bring it into himself. The other demon began showing terror, an emotion that is almost unimaginable for a demon to exhibit. He began to slowly retreat. The hunter looked at the demon with a maniacal grin growing larger. Then he lunged with an unimaginable speed and grasped the demon. I saw his aura, his spirit, his shadow grow all at once, still attached to him, but taking on the form of a monster. And he began to consume the demon. I do admit it was at this time I failed in my mission to observe and chronicle. I flew away in terror. I slammed open the basement door and I flew as fast as my wings could take me to anywhere that was not here. He was sure to have noticed me then, as all pretense in holding my invisibility fell apart. I swear I heard him say, "See you next time, 2049. I flew and flew until my wings gave out. I couldn't feel my hunger, my thirst, my fatigue, because all I could think about was that no one should have been able to do what he did to those demons. What kind of maniacal beast consumes demons? Demons exist to consume, not be consumed." Excerpt from Interview 001 with Demon Devourer. Interviewer: "Regarding your first recorded case, how exactly did you manage it?" Demon Devourer: "First you get really, really hungry." Interviewer: "How did you, a human, learn to consume demons?" "You could argue that I'm no longer human." "Are you a demon possessing a human then?" "Not really." "Then how did you learn to consume demons?" "You other races don't think much of us, do you? It's true that humans aren't as physically strong as the modern races. We can't swing mighty warhammers made of solid steel, and we don't have as much magical ability as most. We can't control massive fire spells that can destroy armies. But what we do have, what humans have, is adaptability. We learn and change faster than any other race. I adapted." "How?" "I tried really hard." End of story. Story number 2. The Foundation, written by some person 21. State Archives 41220XX. Topic: The Foundation. The Foundation, as they called themselves, were originally not even known by their own species, or anyone else for that matter. They were an anomaly, which was ironic considering what they did as an organization. They adhered to a simple code: secure, contain, protect. We originally thought that meant that they were a secret branch of a local government, something not to be worried about, as our invasion destroyed nearly every government on the planet. Then, their logo started appearing everywhere, on vehicles, on buildings, on uniforms, and soon enough, our minds. When we entered a building that we know as Site Redacted, we expected not much, but what we found was strange. They had scientists, guards, and what looked to be prisoners. When we entered the building, a guard walked up and said, "We aren't a part of any government, and what's in here can end us all. Leave or face consequences." Of course, we didn't leave. When we stood our ground, the guard noticeably shook his head and pressed a button, which sounded an alarm. That should have been our first warning to leave. We of course didn't leave and instead forced the guard at gunpoint to tell him to turn it off and surrender. I can't. What's in here is deadly for us all. I just pressed the alarm to allow everyone a chance to escape in time. The second warning, and that too we ignored, the alarm's audible shouting of containment breach, thinking we could survive whatever it was they kept down there. Sometimes I wish we turned around and left. As everyone ran, we found a map and saw a section called Heavy Containment. We thought that meant it contained heavy weapons and such. Well, technically it did, if you just looked at the nuclear warhead, but like everything we ignored what would be our third and final warning. What happened after we reached the heavy containment and opened those cursed doors was utter madness. Creatures that defied physics, reality, life, death, understanding, and everything we thought true came out. We were slaughtered, but that line suggests we never stood a chance to begin with. A few of us got out alive somehow, some worse off than others. And all we could do as we ran away, as those same guards tried their best to hold that wretched and cursed horde from abomination itself. It didn't help that after around 22 minutes, we heard a nuclear explosion at the site and watched as more of those guards and soldiers flooded the area. 3 years later, after hard-fought battles and deaths, our forces couldn't keep up with the expenses that the human guerrilla fighties caused us in all forms. Psychological, monetary, lives, you name it. They really did have a gun behind every blade of grass. And after all this time, all this therapy and medicine, I still can't get over what those soldiers did at that site. How they lived, what they did, and how they sacrificed so much only for the nuclear option to be the only available solution. I've learned one lesson from the experience, though. Never screw with anything related to the Foundation and anything they secure, contain, and protect. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.